Eloise has more of an odd disposition about her.
We have Elizabeth Bennet, Jane Austen herself, and like Jo from like Little Women, like those women who are a little out there, a little different.
Talk about the take that people just don't think Eloise should get married, period.
Daphne! You must make haste!
Hello, welcome back to Red Couch Rants. So today, I wanted to talk a little bit about everyone's favorite Bridgerton, Eloise. So Eloise, we meet in season 1 of Bridgerton. She immediately is the Jo of the Bridgerton siblings. She doesn't want a husband. She's making fun of women who want husbands. She doesn't understand the whole charade of it all. She thinks it's ridiculous that women have to walk with a feather on their head. And a lot of people, especially because we're watching a period piece, a lot of women are watching it and agreeing with Eloise. And Eloise, yeah, arguably is many people's favorite character. She has a wit and a charm about her. She's funny. She kind of is that comedic relief throughout every season. We just love her. We want the best for her. Now that season 4 of Bridgerton is out and we have a long time to wait for season 5, a lot of people are debating what season the next Bridgerton is going to focus on. And many people are speculating it will be Eloise. I think it's going to be Eloise. I think maybe Francesca's story is also going to be in there. I think they're going to do both of them simultaneously, and it'll mainly be Eloise. I could be wrong. Who knows? But that's my guess. Like I said, many people, their favorite character is Eloise. And a lot of people do not like her love story, do not like the book. And there's a couple reasons. The main one is Eloise appears to want to be a spinster for her entire life. Obviously, getting married. And not only getting married, but I'm going to get into what the book's about. In the book, she gets married to a man who already has kids. And a lot of people just think that does not align with who Eloise is as a person and the things that she wants. I feel a little bit differently. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion. I don't know. Just from the videos I've been seeing. So when we meet Eloise in the TV show, we meet her first episode. Her most famous line is the
Daphne! You must make haste!
everyone loved that. But when you really analyze Eloise as a character in the TV show, I feel like they took the character from the book and dramatized her. So they took a lot of characteristics that Eloise has. It seems like they were making her a little more into the Jo of Little Women because we need one girl pushing back on the agenda. And I don't disagree with this. Obviously, the Regency period had a lot of problematic things towards women. I especially love to romanticize and read about these stories. If you really look into the history of it, it was a terrible time for women. Most of the time before the 21st century has been a terrible time for women, and this is no different. Having Eloise there to kind of show the women who do not want these things is important. Eloise in the show loves to make fun of women, unfortunately. She also doesn't seem to understand the privilege she has and how that plays a role in her ability to make fun of these women. Now, this is all just my opinion. This is just my analysis of Eloise. And I just want to say I do love her. And I do love what the Bridgerton series was doing. But I'm just going to go over a couple things about her before the book because I think people are very harsh and judgmental about the book. And as someone who enjoyed the book and enjoyed the romance, I just kind of want to get you guys in my headspace as to why I feel the way I do about the book. Talk about the take that people just don't think Eloise should get married, period. So a little bit about the Regency period. I am no historian, but I do love Jane Austen and her background. So I'll just explain Jane Austen's life in a quick little synopsis here. So Jane Austen grew up in the countryside. She was well off, but not of high class. Father was very supportive of her writing and was the one who was actually pushing to get a lot of her things published. Jane's one brother, just to mention, became extremely well off. She ended up being around a lot of high class women, men, and she'd go to balls herself, and she really enjoyed the drama which she put into her most famous book, Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen's livelihood was in the men around her's hands. Eventually, her father ended up dying. So then her mom, and her sister had nowhere to go. It was to the point where they were basically homeless and they were going from like friends' houses to friends' houses. Finally, her brother provided them with a cottage that she and her sister and mom and I think another family friend got to live in. And this is where Jane wrote and published and became the famous Jane Austen we know. Just explain and say all of this to show that Eloise was in a position where she could be a spinster. She was very close with her siblings. The fact that she even really has the option to be single or to be a spinster is very unique, because most women could be a spinster for an amount of time, but once their parents die, or if and when, because it was just a matter of time, they would be homeless, and they would be reliant on their male siblings in order to not be homeless. And if you don't have male siblings, or you're not close with your male siblings, or they're just not great people, you're homeless. So her making fun of other debutantes and other women trying to find husbands was a little ridiculous to me. And we all enjoy her making fun of all of this, like, oh, women have to be prim and proper. But women did have to do these ridiculous things because their future depended on it. It wasn't just for her. Her mom's like, find a love match, you need to get married, but it's not like you need to get married or you will be homeless. Like, you will not have a life, you won't be in society, but not only in society, you won't even be able to feed yourself if you can't get married. So it's like making fun of these women, it had an air of superiority about it. Throughout the series, she's changed a bit, and she's just kind of trying to find her way in the confusing world of Bridgerton. But I just thought I would explain why I think that people going down the route that she was like anti-marriage and didn't want any of that and da 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 da. I see why people think that, but at the same time, marriage at that point in time wasn't like marriage now. It wasn't just they wanted them to find a love match, but it was also about finding someone to take care of you. But she wasn't in a position that she would need someone to take care of her because, I don't know, her and Benedict are close. Benedict's not going to let her be homeless. So it's different for her than for other women. It reminds me of a notion of, if work's bad for your mental health, therefore, why are we trying to get jobs? Like, why are we doing all these things just to get a job? But in reality, we need a job to survive. It's like in that time period, unfortunately, they needed a husband to survive. So it's different, but it's like someone from a well-off family telling you, like, well, why work? It's so stressful and it's hard. Like, why work when you don't have to work? And I'm like, Eloise, they do have to find a husband. They do have to find their work. In each story, we have to have a woman that represents a more unique way of being. Eloise has more of an odd disposition about her, and people like her, but Eloise talks too much, and Eloise has all these faults that ladies aren't supposed to have. And which aligns pretty well with the TV show, I think. I enjoyed the fact in the TV series and in the book that just because she's quirky and doesn't want to get married doesn't mean she strives in other avenues. She's not like an amazing writer. She's not any of these other things. She just wants what her brothers have, which is to have money and enjoy it and not have to be prim and proper all the time. But unfortunately, she was born a woman, so that's what she must do. We have Lady Whistledown, who Eloise is obsessed with, and I think she's even more obsessed with it because gossiping is inherently female, and she is profiting off of people buying her gossip column. And I love things that are not only made by a female, but are notoriously negative things about a female. I think that completely aligned with, like, Eloise being obsessed with her made complete sense. Eloise is especially important in season 1 and getting all of us hooked because we got to see Daphne, who's the diamond of the season and is gorgeous and perfect, and we all love watching that. But I don't think a lot of us connected with Daphne on a more of a personal level because she's the kind of person we all look to and be like, oh my gosh, why can't I be like her? But where a lot of us are like Eloise. I think partially Eloise doesn't just fully hate it, but I think it's the effort and the ability to do it doesn't come as naturally to her. I think she's a lot more witty and funny, but she doesn't have that grace. Eloise in general just isn't smooth, especially in the book, but everything, she just says the wrong thing, she talks too much, she's too blunt, she's she's too much, period. And we love that about Eloise. Ultimately, I think that Eloise, as much as she's everyone's favorite sibling, I don't think she really feels like she belongs because she's the only one who feels the way she feels. And she's also the one that's poking fun at everyone, I think, more than anyone else. Eloise would almost be seen as freakish among most upperclassmen. And I think because she presents herself this way and it's just who she is, I think that already put a bad taste in her mouth, considering the fact that she was supposed to be this perfect debutante. And I think that ultimately, I don't know if she could do it even if she tried. And I think she knew this about herself and therefore hated the whole ordeal. She hates the marriage mark. She hates it all, not just because she hates marriage, because that is part of it. She wants to be able to do what she wants. But I think she has a lot of difficulty conforming. And I think it's a lot for her to try and put on, like, for Daphne, it almost appears like entertaining for her to like put this persona on and be, and it's not that far off of who she actually is. But for Eloise, it's such an effort that she's like, why can't I just be like my brothers and I get to show up, and if I want to marry I can, if I don't have to. And she kind of struggles with that throughout the TV series. Her and Theo definitely walked so that Sophie and Benedict could run. That was an interesting thing of season 2 that nothing much came of it. I think she was kind of dabbling in this other life because she had two options. She either stays in her upper class and becomes a spinster or becomes married. And she gets all of the positives of being in the upper class, but she's also dealing with all the negatives. And that comes with both if she chooses to be a spinster or if she chooses to get married. And I think when she kind of dabbled in the poverty, the poverty and the reality of all of that, she realized that she's kind of stuck where she is. And I think it was important for her to learn things. And I think that changed her mindset in the sense of she might actually be a little grateful that she's in the area that she is in. I do think her going to those rallies and her learning those things is important for her, but I think it also helped her realize how lucky she is despite her lot in life isn't great because she's a woman, 100%. But those things are happening. Like, other women of lower class also had to marry, unless they were sex workers, also had to marry, but they just didn't have the money. Like, they were just going to be slaving away their whole lives. So it's like, what's the worst of the two evils, right? Always finding out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown was a huge betrayal, and it made her realize even Lady Whistledown doesn't have a great life. So she's like, even if I could work and I could do these things, like, look at Penelope. It's not like she's living this lavish, great life. It's like a mirror to Eloise, that if she tries to get a career, tries to do something in the position she's in, she's gonna just be in the same spot. So I think that was a big letdown for her. And I think that's what changed when we saw the next season. Like, I just feel like every season she's approaching things differently.
The reason I brought up Jane Austen is because I think that Eloise is kind of a mix. We have Elizabeth Bennet, Jane Austen herself, and like Jo from like Little Women, like those women who are a little out there, a little different. But I think that the combination of all of those characters create Eloise. Appreciate if you like listening to me talk, because I love to talk about the books that I read. I make these videos, so if you enjoy them, subscribe, like. If you don't,
Well, now please leave me alone.
if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about Eloise and like Elizabeth Bennet, if you see any parallels between the two. Let me know if you think that Eloise is going to be the next season. I feel like a lot of us are like pretty sure she's going to be the next season, but I'm curious to know. Okay.